right, so let's talk about prison safety. Obviously, if you get into prison, it's some place that's meant to be a place of corrections, hence the name of the Illinois Department of Corrections in the state of Illinois. But what about the safety of not just the offenders, but also those prison guards? And I think this is an interesting conversation that sometimes might not happen necessarily unless a certain class of workers discusses what's going on and behind those prison walls. So I had an opportunity to talk with the president of the Fraternal Order of Police Corrections Lodge 263, Scot Ward, about some of his concerns on Friday. They put out a news release essentially highlighting a list of things. And I did also reach out to the Illinois Department of Corrections for reaction. But ultimately, the takeaway here is that fentanyl-laced mail making its way into Illinois' correction system. Some are demanding for there to be a change in policy to make it stop. So the issue is one of not, again, just safety of the offenders getting laced mail that could lead to overdoses. It's the safety of those who are handling the offenders day to day, and they have to sort through all this mail. So talking with Scot Ward, here's some of the conversation I had with him here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And start off the conversation with what exactly are those major safety concerns that they're having at Illinois' prison system across the state?
Well, other than your basic assaults that happen that the media and actually the society itself never hear about, it's synthetic drugs. And for those that don't understand what synthetic drugs and how it's being processed and put into the penal system, it's through soaked paper. So they'll make any letter and write a letter like you would to anyone, and then they take this K2 fentanyl-based synthetic drug and soak it in the paper. And once it dries, they mail it in to the offender like it's normal mail. They've even gone to the extent of using fake lawyer firm and all that kind of stuff to make it look like legal mail, because the department has a separate policy on how they handle and basically we open up the legal mail directly in front of them. We don't read it. We just make sure there's no items of contraband. But being able to detect this type of paper is tough. And not only that, it needs to be with PPE gear on, because so that fentanyl gets into your skin. And obviously this is where the Narcaning and people of overdosing issues have taken play.
So again, that's Scot Ward. He is the president of the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police Corrections Lodge 263, and he said that they're raising this because they want the Department of Corrections to actually give this some attention and to possibly have some policy changes within IDOC.
I'm asking them to do that because now that I'm retired, I can be that voice, and they have no repercussions for me. So I'm here to tell you the facts. It's going on. I can tell you one facility in the southern region on the 15th of this month had six offenders overdosed in one day. I know Western Illinois, Illinois River, Menard, they've had offenders and staff several times in a day's time frame. And then all your tactical teams that are going in after it's been found, gloving up and trying to find these drugs. I mean, the chance of the exposure is done daily. It's getting to the point where it needs to be addressed. Policy changes need to be made. And I've offered a couple different solutions. Being on a national corrections committee, I have the availability of reaching out to all kinds of states and finding out what's working for them. And I did that with Rikers Island. I did that with some feds. I did that in Kentucky, just, different places, and finding out what their policies are. And I offered it some solutions, and I've just yet to see anything take place. And I'm quite frankly getting frustrated taking calls from membership across the state that are here providing, legitimate documentation to support their claims of these things happening, and nothing's being done about it.
So I'm sharing a conversation I had with Scot Ward on Friday. He's the president of the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police Corrections Lodge 263. And, I asked him about other policies that are impacting this issue of fentanyl-laced paper getting into the prisons that he's seen implemented elsewhere. And he pointed to a facility right here in Illinois. It's not a state facility. It's a federal facility.
Just stop allowing paper mail inside a facility. You could mail it to the department, and several states are doing this. The department has a central hub location, and a company, an outside agency, or it could even be department members, but you have to have proper overhead venting and things like that. But they have the mail come to a central location. They scan it to a tablet, and it would be emailed directly to the offenders. The offenders have the capability of buying tablets at this point, and there's certain things that they're limited to do. But there's also companies out there that are willing to give the tablets because they would make money on songs purchased and things like that from the offender. So it would equal out what it would cost them to give the offender the tablet for free, is my point. And that would alleviate any real paper going into the facility. And that basically cuts it dry right there. But other states and other agencies, let's say the federal system, for instance, we can use Thompson, Illinois. Thompson, Illinois went on a satellite program, and they Xerox copied everything, had it all into one mailroom. All the people were trained specifically how to handle that mail and what they needed to do. They Xerox copied everything, sent the Xerox copy to the offenders, and then destroyed those other copies. Nothing happened for a 90-day period. It went to zero. The first month after that pilot program was gone, someone died at Thompson with an overdose.
So he says that that's obviously something that can work. It's just you got to have the policies in place to make that change. He said that this really was a turning point for him because he got calls from, say, Pinckneyville, for instance, of 6 overdoses having to be revived with Narcan. But they also put out a statement saying that the governor's appointee, who gives directions to IDOC, has dangerously shifted focus to an anti-law enforcement, criminal-centered environment that placates social justice advocates at the expense of accountability of criminal behavior. So I did reach out to the Illinois Department of Corrections. They said they strongly disagree with Ward's representations, and the information provided by the Fraternal Order of Police Corrections Lodge is inaccurate, a spokesperson for IDOC told me. The department's evolution to an incentive-based corrections model is an administrative-wide initiative and has resulted in a reduction of violence within the facilities, but still some concerns there. This, as Illinois, according to WTVO out of Rockford, is the third most dangerous state for police. Illinois, third most dangerous state for police. Between 2012 and 2022, FBI statistics show that 33 officer fatalities equated to 355 deaths per 100,000 police officers. And that's quite a number that the FBI is highlighting as far as the safety of officers in the state of Illinois.